Hi everyone, my name is Katie Gorman. I'm a mom and a teacher, and my husband is an RN. He's been working for almost 10 years now as an RN. He has his nurse practitioner license as well, and we've been working really hard to make sure that people have a choice. My husband stands on his principles, stating that patients should always be informed and should always have a choice. When the vaccine mandate came out for the healthcare workers, we realized that our community, Shasta County, here in California, is going to be less safe. We worked really hard to provide awareness through protests and going into the Shasta County Board of Supervisors meetings and asking them to help us with the situation. While we were there, we found out that there was a solution, that our county could vote together as one in unison to end the state of emergency. What this would do would give local control back to the people. So throughout the process, we found out we were only met with contempt from the Board of Supervisors. 3 of them in particular: Leonard Modi, Mary Rickard, and Joe Clemente. And once my husband actually was able to convince them to have a special meeting where those nurses were going to be able to go to those boards and talk to people at a special session when they actually had time after work instead of 9 a.m. in the morning, they eventually canceled it. And when he went back and said, "Are you going to reschedule?" they said, "No, it's a waste of our time." Now that person actually who said that was Mary Rickard. Joe was moderating a lot and trying to tell us that he really believed in choice on these mandates. His hands were very tied. On that exact same day that they said that it was a waste of time to reschedule that meeting and voted no, they also voted for county workers to be forced into this vaccine mandate or testing. That was very clear to us where they actually stood when they made the decision, those 3. Now we have 2 board members on our side, and that was Patrick Jones and Les Baugh. Throughout the process, the nurses were very unified in the beginning. They were sticking together, showing up to the protests, and they were met with more and more resistance. Nasty letters began, and that peeling off process started. So what ended up happening is they started the testing, I believe, discriminatory testing, stating that they are a threat to their patients if they are unvaccinated. Being hauled in and being tested wears on a person. A lot of people resigned and left and maybe even moved out of the state. Good, wonderful families we lost from Shasta County during that period of time. Now this means that they were willing to take on the liability of their vaccinated staff spreading it to the patients, but not the unvaccinated staff, because we know that they do in fact spread it. This was a problem, and we had nowhere to go. We kept being told that Karen Ramstrong was under the auspice of the Shasta County Board of Supervisors, and that we could, through them, appeal to her. Yet every time we tried, we got nowhere. As a teacher myself, I did not want to be in that situation with my fellow coworkers being hauled in to a testing regimen that was discriminatory, wrong, didn't follow the science, and in fact really wore people down. And in a situation when you have teachers already overworked, pushed so far through the pandemic and even before that, you run the risk of losing some really amazing, wonderful teachers and staff, because our schools cannot run without amazing staff. Because I saw in the beginning, when the nurses were refusing to even do the surveys, they kept postponing it. They didn't know what to do. So, we don't test. There was several teachers that felt the same way that I did across the state. We band together and we planned a school walkout for October 18th. And here in Shasta County, 46% of school-age children on October 18th did not attend school that day. Parents are done. That was their line in the sand. They do not want people to choose their medical procedures for their children for them. One size does not fit all. And more importantly, our children should not be put at risk to protect adults, because we know that COVID is not spread by children, nor does it affect them as much. We as a society have never, ever asked our children to take a hit for us. And us teachers, and as a mom myself, this is our line in the sand, and we are saying no. We pride ourselves in being nonpartisan. We pride ourselves in teaching our students critical thinking so that they can make those decisions on their own. And we believe in that because we always want to be showing students both sides of the coin and giving them the opportunity to make those choices on their own. We've also worked really hard to advocate for parents to be involved in their children's education. We work really hard to make sure that they understand what's going on with their children. We work nights and weekends to send messages to parents and write newsletters constantly. Well, why do we do that? Because we care about parents being involved. We can go back to when people had to look things up. They didn't just listen to what the media said. This day and age, that's not where we're at. We need to do this stuff for this next generation. And the public school system doesn't seem to be wanting to go that direction. Well, here in Shasta County, we had an overwhelming number of teachers polled and asked them if they wanted to go back to school. And they said yes. And learned that, yeah, we go in there, we talk to these people. We're not yelling and screaming at them. We're not threatening them. We're asking them to look at provided evidence that we have that is peer-reviewed and studied. And we're asking them to lean back on the principles and ed code about equal rights and equal opportunities. And look at our California Constitution. So, and that these board members take an oath to that. We're doing this for people who can't advocate for themselves. So I will put this to you. Civic duty is absolutely 100% important. And if there's school board positions open and you're able to, maybe you're retired, maybe you're at the end of your career, maybe things are slow for you right now. Sign up to be a school board member. Give back to your community and stand for the people and be their voice. I have proof that these school boards do have the authority, and if you're listening, let them breathe. Thank you. You did not lose your case because we got something out of it and you won. Because this judge's opinion changes everything. We have been told over and over and over again that there's nothing school boards can do because Sacramento and this state of emergency that we're under, and those mandates are now laws and they can't break the law, okay? So they argued as much in that case, let them breathe. But Newsom's own representatives said the mandate's the only mandate there is. So to quote, the California Department of Public Health will continue to offer public health recommendations and guidance related to COVID-19. However, aside from mandatory guidance applicable to face coverings, mega events, and schools, all other public health guidance related to COVID-19 issued by the California Department of Public Health will not be mandatory. It says, in response to the court's effort to confirm defendant's position, defendant's counsel reiterated the defendant's position that the testing strategies and quarantine protocols are recommendations only. This, coupled with the plain language of the guidance, further resolves the issue for the court that testing strategies and quarantine protocols are recommendations, not mandates. Parents, now that you know that these school districts 100% do have the authority to make these decisions and lay out how they're going to implement the mask mandate or how to go forward with the testing and the quarantine procedures, which, whole nother level problems, because then your student is not getting their education that they deserve and is their right. Interesting thing to consider. So we need to get the word out. We need to keep going to these board meetings. Go in there, be professional, explain to them, keep yourself informed, and don't allow this to continue. Freedom meaning I can go wherever I want. I don't need to present papers to do that. So if you are on my side, if you are in the fight, check us out on schoolwalkout.org. More importantly than anything, we stand on our principles, and wherever your line is in the sand, hold it. Hold your line. It's going to come down to us, we the people, standing strong and refusing to comply. Thank you for all of you who are in the fight. You're fighting for all of us, and you're fighting for our children, and just keep doing it. Keep going, keep connecting with each other. Stay connected, stay informed, get on our email list, and continue to stay in the fight. And whatever you do, don't submit to tyranny.